All right, so just to make sure everyone has enough time to get through the presentation, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for All Ohio Students, sponsored by Ohio Association for College Admission Counseling and StriveScan. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at oacac.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website, oacac.org. Now I'd like to turn it over to our presenters.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mackenzie Ewald. I'm a Senior Assistant Director of Admissions at Wabash College. All of our panelists here today will introduce themselves as we move through the presentation, but we are all members of the Great Lakes Colleges Association. This association is a group of 13 liberal arts colleges located in the states around the Great Lakes. The 13 colleges are located in Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Indiana. We all work together in these formats to share information that we find that families may think are helpful. We have a lot to get through today, but we will do our best to answer any of your questions. As far as we go with moving through the presentation, we're going to talk about the college search project process a little bit, academics at liberal arts schools, student life, residential life, experiential learning, and the application process. But we'll go ahead and get started and just talk about some of the basics of a liberal arts institution. We will touch more on this as we move throughout the presentation this evening. But the liberal arts are intended to help students think critically and to analyze information effectively. Most liberal arts schools offer small classroom settings focused on writing, research, and heavy discussion amongst faculty and its students. You'll be challenged to think outside of your normal way of thinking and strongly consider other viewpoints of your peers. Small classroom settings allow you to easily speak with your faculty members, not only about the themes being discussed inside, let's say maybe your theater class, but also you'll talk about history and politics and all other things with your faculty members. For instance, I mentioned I worked at Wabash. In Wabash, many of those faculty members will actually invite students and their classes over to their homes for dinner with their families. They'll join the class on immersion learning trips, which we'll talk about here a little bit more, and support them in, let's say, maybe their musical performances or their athletics events. You will also take classes in all different areas, so not only those within your major or minor. All students will take classes in humanities, sciences, and fine arts. At Wabash, our students don't actually have to declare their major until the second semester of their sophomore year. This means you're taking classes in all different areas and finding out what you're passionate about before diving into a schedule of those classes within your major or minor. We also couple your classroom learning with experiences that take place out of the classroom, such as traveling, research, internships, or networking opportunities. At Wabash, we have a saying that majors don't matter, experiences do. So let's say you could major in Spanish if that's something that you're passionate about, but maybe you want to go on to medical school. So maybe you'll minor in one of the sciences. We'll still make sure that you have classes that are lined up and fulfill all of your prerequisites for medical school. Also, you can earn money with a liberal arts degree. Don't let anyone tell you anything differently. You can also reach your goal of working in the STEM field with a liberal arts degree. Steve Jobs once said, "Technology alone is not enough. It's technology married with the liberal arts, married with the humanities, that yields us the results that make our hearts sing." One of the most important things about a liberal arts education is it's going to help you develop your soft skills. So you're going to learn how to present, how to communicate, how to just talk with other people. A study by the Association of American Colleges and Universities found that 75% of employers would advise college-age students to pursue a liberal arts degree. Now, with that very basic overview, I am now going to turn it over to Greg from Hope to talk about the college search process.
Hi, everyone. My name is Greg Kern. I'm the Associate Director of Admissions at Hope College in Holland, Michigan. I actually graduated from Hope about 22 years ago, and I've been on the admissions staff for 21 of the last 22 years. I want to talk to you a little bit about diving deep into your college search and how to find the school that best fits you. One of the things that I love about collaborating with a group of GLCA schools is that we have so much in common. These are all places where you'll find really strong academic programs in the tradition of the liberal arts. They're largely residential colleges with great access to faculty and intentional community. That said, you're not talking about 7 versions of the same place. These are all unique institutions with something different that might be a better fit for you or might be a better fit for another student. And so how do you discover those differences? Well, you've got to be really intentional in your college search. All the schools that are presenting here today are places where you want to be an active learner. They're places you'll live, learn, grow, and serve in an active way. And so we'd encourage you to take a similar approach to your college search. Don't sit back. Don't let your parents drive this process. Be invested in it yourself so that you're asking questions and staying engaged, making multiple visits if you can. And if you do that, you'll discern some of the nuances that make these places different. Is there a political lens? Is there an active faith community? What's the community like? And what's the community relationship to the town in which the college is located? There is so much to learn about each of these colleges beyond what you could find on a website, beyond what you could find in a view book. And it really requires you to actively invest time in this process. And obviously the best way to do that is through an in-person visit whenever possible. There are so many ways to visit and so many ways to explore these colleges, but it really does require you to be active in that process. So visit, communicate with your admissions representative. And if you do that, you'll not only find college that's a great fit for you, but you'll learn a lot about yourself in the process. And that is really where that fit comes so naturally, is if you can learn about yourself and identify those features of colleges that are a good fit for you, you'll land at a college that's a great experience for those 4 years.
Hello, my name is Shannon Mylan, and I'm the Assistant Director here at Kalamazoo College. I'm also a K alum and was born and raised also in the city of Kalamazoo. And I'm going to be talking about the academic perks of being in a small pond. So the essence of a liberal arts education is not what you study, but the result. You will gain the ability to think critically and independently, and to write, reason, and communicate clearly. So with a liberal arts education, you will learn broadly and deeply. The depth will be covered in what you major, and breadth will be covered in humanities and arts and the sciences and the social sciences. Now you may ask yourself, why so broad? Because learning more broadly will sharpen your mind. It will encourage creativity, as well as you will learn how to read and write, again, more efficiently, and to be able to analyze and synthesize information to form from multiple resources to come to your own, as well as to develop the capacity to work collaboratively with others. So in the end, the goal is to develop leaders. So receiving a liberal arts education means learning to think in a way that helps you digest and understand the material that you're given in class, rather than maybe just learning a specific skill for a specific career path. This will give you the opportunity for flexibility with your future. So the skills learned within each area can then be translated and applied to a variety of post-college opportunities, such as graduate school, fellowships, as well as more maybe traditional careers. So for example, here at K, our open curriculum emphasizes students' ownership of their own education experience. So with that, you are able to hone in again on those skills of, being able to think creatively and analytically, and to really bring an extraordinary level of depth and passion to whatever you're really passionate about. And like Mackenzie was saying earlier, liberal arts schools tend to be smaller and mostly, if not entirely, focused on undergrads, which means for you, you really get the opportunity to develop meaningful relationships with your professors. And small class sizes can give you the opportunity to, again, not only get to know your peers really well, but your professors, which turn into extremely close, meaningful relationships. And again, as a K alum, I will say this from my own example, these are relationships that you will have for a lifetime with your professors. And in addition, small class sizes will also provide you with many different opportunities to engage in hands-on learning. So really taking what you're learning in the classroom and kind of getting outside of the classroom and applying it to the real world. In addition to building those close relationships with your professors, you will also engage in meaningful relationships with your advisors. So they're here to help you identify and develop and pursue your passions. They will kind of help you clarify your plans and your goals and what you want to do after college. So your relationships with faculty and staff and advisors, as well as your classmates, will all create a real true sense of community during your 4 years. So I will end with a quote from one of our alumni here from K. And he said, "The relationships I built with my professors and the level of care they took to invest in me were the pinnacle experience of attending Kalamazoo College." So in the end, I will say being at a liberal arts college comes with many benefits that will enhance and challenge you and prepare you for life after college. So now we're going to jump into student life, and I'm going to pass it along to Dana.
Hi everyone, my name is Dana Smith and I'm an admission counselor at Albion College in Albion, Michigan. This is my second year, so I'm really excited to dive into this cycle and share a lot of what I've learned this past year. So I think that there's definitely a misconception when it comes to smaller schools that because we're small, that we don't have just as vibrant as a campus life. So I want to just start off with just saying that although our campus communities might be small, we have a very large campus involvement. A joke that I like to make about Albion students is that their email signatures are typically longer than the emails that they're sending. So the places like the schools that are presenting today are where you're going to become really, really involved, form those relationships outside of the classroom and find those people who are interested in the same things that you are. So I always encourage students to check out the student organizations at the schools that you're looking at. Like Greg mentioned earlier, we offer a lot of the same things, but sometimes we have something really special or unique in the organizations and activities that we offer. So checking those out before you get to campus and getting an idea of what you might want to be involved in is a really great way to figure out what your fit might be. So all of us have, identity-based groups, Greek life, student activities, things like that. But, at Albion here, we have the Brits Who Knit. Kalamazoo has Cirque du K, which is a circus club for students. Ohio Wesleyan has the Medieval Combat Club. So there's a lot of really cool niche things for you to get involved with that might end up influencing your college decision. I also want to talk a little bit about athletics. Because for student athletes, the ability to continue to play in college often plays a major role in being able to choose a college. So also like Greg mentioned earlier, figuring out what a campus's athletic community is like, forming relationships with coaches and your other athletes that you would be on a team with, and starting that engagement really early is a great thing to start thinking about now, whether you're a junior or a senior or just starting the college search process. Some of us have really cool and unique sports. Most of us have things like football and basketball, soccer, volleyball, but a couple of us have equestrian or lacrosse or field hockey, things like that. So figuring out if we even have the sport you want to continue playing is also a good thing to keep in mind as well. Now, if you're like me and you're not very athletic at all, then maybe you want to continue your fine arts experience in college. All of us kind of have different definitions of fine arts, but I would say for the most part, that includes anything music, theater, and art related. So you might want to stay in the orchestra or participate in a theater production. Most of us have opportunities to do that, whether that be majoring in that discipline or not majoring and still being involved in some capacity. Some of us offer scholarships for that. Some of us have conservatories. Some of us it's just an extracurricular. So again, it's a good thing to go in and figure out how involved you want to be in the fine arts while you're here. So all of that to say is that there's a lot of different ways for you to get involved outside of the classroom. We're going to push you to get involved. We want you to form those relationships, have those other interests. And a lot of times we'll have student activities fair the first week you're on campus as a first year to get connected with those people as soon as you're here. But now I'm going to pass it off to Susan, who's going to talk a little bit about the residential life experience.
Hi, everybody. My name is Susan. I am an Associate Director of Admissions at Allegheny College in Northwestern Pennsylvania. I wanted to talk a little bit about the residential college experience. So liberal arts colleges tend to have the mindset of requiring students to live on campus. So a guarantee of housing across 4 years is an important hallmark of the college experience. But I wanted to also make a brief mention that whether you live on campus or not really is a personal choice, and it is a family choice. So you need to discuss as a family first finances, religious, cultural expectations regarding living on campus. And as you do your college search, if you have these limitations in your family related to finance, or maybe there's an expectation based upon religious or cultural standards that you need to live at home, that these things are discussed before you do your college search so that you know what questions to ask as you do your college search. So is the residential college the real college experience? In this day and age, there is no standard response to what is a real college experience. It's whatever you make of it. So most of us will say we guarantee housing, which means you will have a college-owned room to live in throughout your 4 years. These rooms might be double rooms where you'll have a roommate. These might be suites in which you'll have a private or semi-private room, share a bathroom, have a common area for 2, 4, 6 people. So these can be apartment styles, houses. There's a lot of options to live on campus. And there's a lot of benefits to doing so, which is how I wanted to frame the rest of my remarks, thinking about what living on campus really looks like. And a side note is that as you're thinking about living on campus, you need to ask a very important question about safety. You need to talk about safety in the surrounding communities where your college is located and safety on your campus. Every college is required to list their safety statistics on their website. So it's called the Clery Act. It is a federal act which mandates that colleges report safety infractions throughout campus. And you can look around in the surrounding community. Also take a drive in the locations where your colleges are located just to get a sense of how comfortable you feel in your community. That being said, why do I want to talk about living on campus? It's because anecdotally, people report having higher GPAs based upon living on campus. The stress of driving, the stress of perhaps sitting in traffic, witnessing an accident, being involved in an accident, arriving to campus, looking for a parking space. All of these are real stressors that can really impact your in-classroom performance. So if you get to live on campus and your walk is just a short walk across the campus, across a lawn to get to class, you're going to arrive stressed and ready to learn. Also, as you know, all of your peers and your classmates are also living on campus. Group work, group projects, things like that are much easier facilitated than having to work with people who might live in other cities or other towns in the area. So anecdotally, you're going to be a better student if you're able to live on campus and build those connections. But the connections are what I really wanted to stress as well. You're going to meet people in college who will be your friends for the rest of your life. I worked in admissions under a dean who used to say, when you sit in your first class and you look around the room and everybody is a stranger to you, there's actually going to be someone in that room who's going to be the first person you're going to call when your book gets published, who's going to be the first person you're going to call when you get accepted into medical school and any type of graduate program. These are people that you're going to form bonds with for life. Living on campus is not just about being in the classroom, but it's about 2 o'clock in the morning and going into the bathroom to brush your teeth and running into somebody who you've maybe just seen once or twice and striking up a conversation. You're going to talk to people from different countries, different states, people with different backgrounds, and you're going to learn to live together civilly, comfortably, happily, and form communities where you're going to learn and grow as a person. So you learn in the classroom, but you're also going to learn in the residence hall. And that's why I wanted to talk next about learning communities. So learning communities are places where you can live together based upon a common interest. So language and cultural houses is one example. DePaul and Allegheny also have gender neutral, gender inclusive housing. So you can live together with people with different gender expressions. So you're not lumped into a gendered housing experience. There's honors housing or other academic areas of interest, language housing if you want to speak a second or possibly even a third language in the common areas of your house. So there's a lot of opportunities to take the academics of the classroom and bring them into your home. You also might have an opportunity to live in fraternity or sorority housing on our campuses. So living on campus is not what you see on TV with 2 beds lined up against a wall. against, cinder block walls. But there's wonderful ways to live on campus to extend your academic performance and to be a more successful college student. In order to take that from the classroom into the residence hall, and now we're going to go into experiential learning. So I'm going to turn this over to Lori from Ohio Wesleyan, who's going to talk to you about further experiential learning opportunities.
Great, thank you so much. My name is Lori Patton. I am the Director of Admission at Ohio Wesleyan University, located in Delaware, Ohio. I am a proud graduate of OWU, and I'm in my 24th year of working here in the Office of Admission. I'm also the parent of 2 students at Ohio Wesleyan. My daughter is a junior and our son is a freshman this year. So I'd like to talk a little bit today about the deep sea exploration, learning beyond the classroom. And this really focuses on the opportunity that in addition to pursuing your major and or minor, liberal arts colleges have a particular interest in and focus on helping students to connect what they're learning in the classroom with real world experiences through experiential learning. Each liberal arts institution, even those included on this panel, will approach experiential learning in their own unique way, but often they will include some of the following. First of all, research opportunities. Many liberal arts colleges will offer students the opportunity to get hands-on research, sometimes in the sciences, sometimes outside of the sciences. They can offer those both on campus as well as off campus. So for example, Ohio Wesleyan offers our summer science research program. It's a 10-week full-time paid research experience with an OU faculty member, culminating in a symposium where students actually get to present their work to fellow students and university faculty. Albion College has a similar program called FIRSCA, which stands for the Foundation of Undergraduate Research, Scholarship, and Creative Activity. And similar to OU's program, these are self-designed, faculty-mentored, paid summer research experiences. At DePaul, 30% of their students will participate in undergraduate research before graduation. In addition, students all across the country can participate in off-campus research experiences known as REUs. And REU stands for Research Experience for Undergraduates. And this allows students an opportunity to do research at another institution off campus, perhaps during the summertime. Liberal arts colleges do a really great job of providing internship, externship, and job shadowing experiences. This is where students can get hands-on experience in the field, giving them the opportunity to try out a specific job or profession. Ohio Wesleyan has, for example, the Wesleyan in Washington program. This is a semester-long full-time internship experience on Capitol Hill, or perhaps the New York Arts program, another semester-long internship program in New York City for students in the visual and performing arts, maybe publishing, art history, among others. At Albion College, internships are actually required for their centers and institutes for public policy, business, and healthcare, and highly encouraged for all other students. And if a student can't find a way to participate in a semester-long internship experience, they may decide to tackle one over the summer. Again, oftentimes arranged directly from their institution, or they might participate in shorter job shadowing experiences like OWU's externship program. At Ohio Wesleyan, our externship program happens twice a year during fall break and spring break. Each of those semesters, we pick a city and recruit alumni to offer externship job shadowing experiences to our students. And so students have that chance to have that job shadowing for a 3 to 5 day long period. Traveling and studying off campus is hugely popular at liberal arts colleges, and it's offered in a bunch of different ways. Students can travel. Most colleges offer traditional semester-long study abroad programs. Colleges typically sponsor their own programs, like OU has a semester abroad program in Spain, one in Ireland, and one in Tanzania. But most liberal arts colleges also partner with each other, offering students hundreds of additional opportunities for them to participate in each other's programs. Some students may embark on travel through a course they are taking. For example, Albion College has a Holocaust course, which has a travel component to it. And Ohio Wesleyan has what we call travel learning courses. These are usually 10 to 15 courses offered each spring semester. They are traditional courses in that the students sit in a normal class 2 to 3 days a week, but then the group, that class, would travel together for maybe 10 to 21 days to connect what they were learning in the classroom with the real world. A couple of quick examples. There's an island biology course that travels to the Galapagos Islands. There's a music and community engagement course that travels to Southern Louisiana. And one of my favorites, plant response to global change course that travels to Alaska. I keep asking if they'll take me as a chaperone. I'm waiting for them to say yes. Additionally, some students may travel outside of a structured program. So Ohio Wesleyan has something called Theory to Practice grants. This is a program that provides full funding for students, faculty, and staff to pursue individualized projects that are of interest to them. These kinds of opportunities are available at other liberal arts colleges as well. Lastly, many students travel through other campus organizations, maybe their athletic team, or perhaps through service learning trips or alternative spring break trips that both go domestically and internationally. Some colleges even package one or more of these types of experiences into a signature program, which may or may not be required for graduation. So for example, Ohio Wesleyan's program is packaged as the OWU Connection. Kalamazoo's signature program is packaged as the K-Plan. Allegheny's EL semesters, which stands for experiential learning, is packaged there as well. Ultimately, liberal arts colleges feel that these kinds of experiential learning opportunities, however packaged or offered and whether they're required or not, will help students prepare for life after graduation. It helps them figure out what they may want to do, but may also help them figure out what they don't want to do, all of those equally important. Many times these experiences will lead directly or indirectly to their post-college job or grad school. In addition to being great hands-on experiences, these experiential learning opportunities are great ways to network, and they're great resume and application building activities. To take full advantage of all of these wonderful benefits of a liberal arts education, you must apply and get admitted. So I'll turn it over to my colleague Becca to talk more about the application processes that are common among liberal arts colleges.
Thank you, Lori. So welcome this evening to learning about all the options and opportunities a liberal arts college has to offer you. Just as you're going through a college search process, trying to find the best fit for you, we're also looking for students who will be a good fit for our colleges. And so the first step is to take the plunge and submit an application to a college. We typically look for students to use the Common Application. It's an application that's used by, I think, 900 universities across the nation. And some colleges will add additional questions to their Common Application. But the Common Application, for those of you who are seniors, it opened August the 1st. And I would anticipate it would every year in the future. So younger students, you can plan ahead. Colleges will have different deadlines and rounds that you can choose from. Some of them you can apply early and they roll their decisions. Many colleges will be releasing decisions on certain dates and deadlines, and each university will publish those on their websites. And I would encourage you to look for those. Some colleges also offer early decision, where you are committing to attending that university if you are admitted. So how does the application review process work? It's an opportunity for you, the applicant, to provide information to the universities about what's important to you. And it's our opportunity to look at whether or not you're going to be a good fit when it comes to the academic rigor of a liberal arts college, if you're the kind of student who will rise to the occasion. And so we do that by looking at, first of all, your high school transcript and your high school record. So we're looking at things like your, what classes you've been taking. Have you had math, science, social studies, humanities? At DePauw, where I'm the Senior Associate Director of Admission, we are looking for 3 years of a foreign language in the same language. And so each college may have certain things that they're looking for. We're looking at the rigor of your schedule. Have you taken AP classes, honors classes, college prep classes? How well have you done in those classes? Have you been able to rise to the challenge in those classes? We also do look at your senior year. So as you're planning your schedule, juniors and sophomores, don't plan to take it easy in your senior year. We have found at DePauw that as you continue to challenge yourself, your transition into a college level courses will be easier if you continue that challenge. We also look at those standardized test scores. In fact, DePauw, many of the colleges this year, as a result of the pandemic, have made the standardized test scores optional. Some colleges have made their test score submission optional prior to this year. In fact, DePauw did last year, and of our enrolling students this year, 26% chose not to submit test scores with their application. For DePauw, we've found that the best predictor of academic success at DePauw is your high school record. It's over 4 years. When you're applying to a liberal arts college, you're not a number. We really go through your information, and it's a lot of fun to get to know students, even though it may be online. So when you are applying, please, this is not a time to be shy or humble. Include all of your activities and the leadership roles that you may have played. Probably quantity isn't as important as quality when it comes to activities. You don't have to be a member of everything. Find some things that are very important to you and get really involved in those areas. We also look and consider your high school secondary report, your counselor recommendation. Many of us will require a teacher recommendation. It's again a way to get to know you. And we also look at your affinity. So some of you may have family members who've attended the colleges that you're applying to. At DePauw, we consider that in our decision. Also, if you have visited our campus, whether it be virtual or in person, if you meet with an admission counselor, all of those things become a part of your application materials. Your essay on the application is important to us as well. So everything that we know about you, we consider in our decision. And again, we're looking for finding students that will be a good fit and be able to take advantage of all the opportunities that our colleges have to offer. When it comes to paying for college, we don't typically have in-state and out-of-state tuition that you might see at public colleges or other schools. We will look for, we offer merit-based scholarships based strictly on academic achievement. Each university will do it differently, but typically you would be awarded merit-based scholarship separately from need-based financial aid. Each university will have different forms that they request for you to complete. Many will use the federal FAFSA form or the CSS profile. And based on that information, our colleges are going to try and make it as affordable for you to attend our university as possible. Some colleges are able to meet full need. And so we hope that you will take the plunge and not only learn more about our colleges individually, but also apply to our colleges. And we wish you the best luck in your college search process. I'm going to turn it back over to Dana.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. I know we threw a lot of information at you, so I've got all of our panelists' information up here. A joke I make with my students a lot is that our job is very boring if students don't reach out to us. So So please take advantage of this contact information. We also encourage you to attend some of the individual sessions that were going to be happening for some of the schools that were on the panel today. So check out the registration link and the registration form that you signed up for this panel for, and hopefully we'll be able to have some more one-on-one conversations with you. It looks like we've got a little bit of time, so I'd love to open it up for questions. And depending on how many questions we get, then we'll kind of conclude with some closing remarks from each of us about our schools. But we'll wait a minute or two and see if any questions come through, and then close things up. Like I said, we love questions. I think in that case, I'm going to go around our Zoom panel here and have everyone share kind of some closing remarks, a quick fun fact about each of our schools, so you guys can get a little bit better idea of what makes each of us unique. So I'll start. Something unique about Albion is that we have a 340 plus acre equestrian center that's owned and run by the school. So it's right on campus. Students get shuttled there. We own 40 of our own horses. Oh, we did have a question come through. For everyone on the panel, it says, do you look at the school profile for students that attend career centers? Anyone want to take that? Susan, go ahead.
Coming on. Hello. So I'm Susan from Allegheny College. The answer to that is most definitely, I think, in any type of institution, we're looking to understand you, and we're looking to understand where you've been to school. So we don't compare applicants against other applicants. We are looking at you in terms of what's available to you, what resources are available, levels of opportunity at your school. So if you're in a career center, that's actually very exciting because you're going to come and bring a new skill set to our institution, a different kind of skill set and a different background for a liberal arts college. So we're looking for depth and breadth of experiences. So we're going to look at your school profile to understand what you've taken advantage of and make a decision if we think that it would be a great fit. Understanding at liberal arts colleges, we don't have every type of career opportunity that might be available. So if you were, say, for instance, in a culinary academy, you're going to make a lot of friends in the residence hall if you know how to cook that well. But unfortunately, we cannot offer you culinary classes, if that's helpful.
Awesome. Thank you, Susan. And if you have any other questions while we're sharing our fun facts, please throw them out there and we will pause and answer. Actually, I'm going to pass it right back to you, Susan, if you want to share your fun fact about Allegheny.
Cool. Thank you, Dana. So fun fact about Allegheny, two things actually I really want to share. We're an 1,800 student institution. We were recently awarded our First Gen Forward recognition, which means the resources and support for first generation college students is recognized at a very high level. So we have tremendous support resources in place for students who might be first generation college students. And the fact that I adore the most is that just this spring, Allegheny achieved carbon neutrality. First in the state of Pennsylvania and 8th in the nation to achieve carbon neutrality. So very, very proud of all the hard work of those who came before. Took about 10 years to accomplish that goal, but here we are. Thank you everybody for attending, and thanks for your question.
Thanks, Susan. I'm going to pass it on to Becca.
Thank you. Are you able to see me? Very good. Okay. So I wanted to share two things. First of all, we are located in a rural area, and we are lucky enough that we have a 520 acre nature park that's open to our DePauw students as well as community members. And at our nature park, we also have lab stations. We have an Institute for Ethics. It's a very unique opportunity for our students to walk a mile off campus and be in another world. I also wanted to share that we have a brand new residence hall that was opened in August. It has beds for 152 first-year students, and it's part of our 10-year residential living changes for our first-year students. Thank you again for joining us this evening.
Awesome. I'm going to pass it off to Lori.
Great, thank you so much. So I sort of got to cheat with being able to talk about our signature program, the OWU Connection, during my portion of the session. So I'll focus instead on our $60 million multi-phase, multi-year residential renewal project that we're embarking on as we speak. We actually just finished half of phase 1 and opened one half of Smith Hall, which is home to half of our first year students this year. The second half of the building will be open in August of 2021. And we will also open in August 2021 our first apartment complex, which will house 128 upperclassmen students. So more residential opportunities for our students at Ohio Wesleyan coming soon. Thanks for the opportunity to share.
Awesome. And now Shannon.
Hi, thank you. First, I just want to say thank you for coming, and I'm so excited to have this opportunity to talk to students and get this opportunity to just share about Kalamazoo College. And I think the one thing I would like to say about Kalamazoo College that is kind of unique to K, and I love talking to students about it, is that we sit in the city of Kalamazoo, so the downtown area is just like a 10-15 minute walk from campus, and we also jokingly say that we share the backyard to Western Michigan University. So we have 1,500 students. Western Michigan has 30,000. So we always kind of say you kind of get the best of both worlds. You get to be at this amazing small private liberal arts college, but also in a really vibrant college town, which is a lot of fun. So again, thank you for joining us tonight. And like Dana said, please reach out if you have questions. We love to talk to students. So thank you.
Thanks, Shannon. And then Greg.
There are so many different things we could be talking about, but I think just a couple to highlight. I think of sometimes Hope as the jumbo shrimp of liberal arts college. We're the largest of the schools in the GLCA, and at about 3,000 students. Again, looking back at my own experience, I just found that to be a really good balance of kind of big enough and small enough at the same time. Obviously, that perception is certainly shaped by the high school that you're at and the community you're a part of right now. And so think carefully about the size of the school that you want to attend.
Awesome. And then to close things out, we're going to end with Mackenzie.
Hi, yes, so Mackenzie from Wabash College. Really quickly, I'd want to say that, we kind of talked about those immersion learning trips where it's a travel component tied in with your classroom experience, a class that you're taking on campus. At Wabash 2 years ago, we did receive a very generous donation from an alum of $20 million, which basically allows every single student on our campus who wants to travel with an immersion learning trip to do so. So I would say make sure that you bring your passport. And the really fun fact about Wabash is the creator of the Happy Meal from McDonald's graduated from Wabash. But thank you all for attending tonight. This was really fun.
What a way to end. So thank you again. As you can hear from all of us, we're so grateful for you all. And hopefully those of you watching this recorded learned some great information. And we'll pass it off to StriveScan for some end of the session notes.
You're on mute.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us, everyone, for our virtual college exploration. There will be a quick survey after you close this window. Just a quick 4-question survey will appear. Sign up for more sessions. So there will be sessions running all the way through November at www.oacac.org, and recordings will be available at that same website. Thank you and good night.